Hello lovelies, welcome back to another tutorial. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. This particular tutorial, we're gonna do a bouquet. We haven't done a bouquet in such a long time, you guys, but of course, I never could just do a bouquet. I mean, I have. There's a whole bunch of videos if this isn't one for you, but we're gonna do a bouquet with a twist. And this time we're gonna work with crystals and moss and a pretty monochromatic, not completely, but a very monochromatic kind of color story, I think. Am I using monochromatic right? I don't know, you tell me in the comments in a minute once you see what we've got going on. So let's jump into it, shall we? Okay, this one's gonna be so much fun. So the first thing that you're gonna need if you wanna do this, we're gonna use this amethyst, what do they call it? A tower? A spear tower, maybe? I don't know. We're gonna use this as a handle. Oh, it's so pretty. So to do that, we're going to need some styrofoam. I'm gonna be using a round piece of styrofoam. My Walmart, which is where I ran to go grab floral foam, they didn't have the nice floral foam that we use a lot, the dry floral foam, in a round, and I didn't feel like cutting up floral foam. So we're gonna work with this. It'll work. I've already put a hole in it to make sure, and sure enough, yes. So you need that. We're also gonna need some moss. The Greenery is, we're gonna go dark and moody for this one. So we've got some of the eucalyptus. This was in my stash, these like little berries. These, I don't know if we still have the brown eucalyptus in the shop or not. This was one of the basics. This was a past Greenery that we've had in the past. We've got some of the basic seeded eucalyptus and also a burgundy one. So we've got just burgundies and greens basically. Oh, and then we've also got, yeah, there it is. It's always around, our Italian ruscus, because I'm obsessed with it. Then the flowers, so not completely monochromatic, but we're definitely staying with a pretty dark, similar toned color story. So we've got some burgundies in there, we've got a little bit of a darker red, we've got some darker purples and some lighter purples. So there's our color story to kind of go with the Greenery. So dark and moody, pulling that purple and burgundy and brown and earthy tones, because we've got that moss too. So, all right. I think I'm still debating on how I want the shape of this. Originally I was like, oh, we'll do a full rounded, but now I'm wondering, we're gonna put a blanket, a base of moss at the bottom, and then maybe we'll go more of an interesting, unique shape. I think we're just gonna see what happens, because the Greenery is definitely not conducive for a nice rounded bouquet. It's definitely more wild. So we might make almost like a fan of sorts. Goodness gracious. I really hope this turns out. I think it's gonna be super cute if it does. And if it doesn't, as always, squint and it looks better. Okay, let's try this. All right, so first thing we need to do is attach the moss to the sphere. You could also probably glue that in place, but I wanna be able to use the tower as an actual crystal at some point. But I think too, it would be cool if you're making one of these, you may wanna have that afterwards, take your flowers off of that and pop it in something else, because it'll probably be able to float into some sort of container, and then you have your tower as another keepsake. So what I just did it without saying anything, is I took a piece of wire, floral wire that we use, and I'm gonna make it into a staple. You can also do paddle wire, works really well for this, but I'm out of paddle wire that's a little bit thicker, and because of how like dense this is, I need a little bit of power in there. So we're just going to then use our little staples to hold the moss in place. Now, I will suggest this style kind of moss, what is this, reindeer moss, I think, versus the more loose moss. This stuff floats a lot more and you're gonna lose a lot more of it, but I'm running out of the other moss. So we're going to just see what we can do by mixing and matching the two, and hopefully then everything kind of holds up as we want it to. Okay, the base is done. That's kind of cute. It's like a little nest. Then I'm going to start with the Italian ruscus. Yeah, this is what I'm a little worried about, is the how far everything goes out as far as the greenery and stuff. I don't know the shape yet that I want to create with this, so this is going to be interesting. Also, again, not my favorite of types of floral foam, but we use what we have and what is available to us. All right. I think for this one, we're gonna cut it in multiple spots. Since this is like a long, tall greenery, we'll just put it in multiple little spots. When it comes to especially spheres, things look real scary at first. You just gotta trust the process and just keep working at it. I've already got like a little flat back so that when it sits nice and flush against the body. So I'm going to continue that. I think actually what we might do is just put moss right there. We're not gonna use all of this particular greenery. We've got almost a full stem. There's one cut off. So I think we're just gonna cut one, maybe two. We'll do two. But I'm gonna cut one down first, and then I'll add more if I need to. Now I want another layer of those red and browns. So we've got these real big leaves. So those are next. So these have like little additional like little stems and sticks and stuff, and they're pretty heavy duty. So they're gonna take up some decent space. So these, I have some that are like individually already put on like some wires to make them a little bit longer. Don't know how many of these we'll use, maybe two of them. And then we've got the fun, funky fillers to go in after that. See what I'm saying though too about once you're done with the event, you can just take it off of your, it's obviously not the right thing, but take it off your thing and then be able to put it down on something else. So that'll work really well for that. We're just gonna keep putting that in. Okay, all right. We're getting close to having the filler done. So I have this real funky, I use these every once in a while in arrangements. I have a slew of filler from like the 50s from Hong Kong. And they're just so freaky and cool. Okay, but right now we're gonna set that aside. That I like to use them in pieces, especially like more unique kind of pieces that it's a little something you wouldn't expect. So these I just really want, I'll probably put some of the greenery, but I'm really just focused more on the berries. I know working with artificial fillers and flowers can sometimes feel like it's a little bit different than when working with fresh, but I disagree with that. I feel like it's the same in the terms of when you're working with fresh flowers, you're also paying attention to the flow of what the material wants to do. And I feel that you can do the same thing with artificial fillers. Okay, so I am definitely going to keep the back without stuff. I gotta fix this. So I'm gonna go and put some more moss on there just to cover that so that that is nice and finished. So I needed something to hold it in place. So I just have this glass bottle. Whoop. It works if I don't tilt it. But same, again, you could pop it on something else once you're done. Okay, so now I feel good about that. Here's the back with the moss. I don't feel good about moving this too much, but whatever. I also think I have a solution for the crystal that I'll show you in the tower in just a second. So let's get to putting in our flowers, shall we? We're gonna do our normal triangle vibe for those three. Whoop. And then we'll get in our purple flowers for the first set of purple flowers. And then we'll decide if we want to put in the other red flowers as well. I'm not really sure yet at this point. I'm also staying away from the bottom because the handle is really special. So I want to make sure that that gets a little bit of attention, and if it's too heavy on the bottom, I feel like you're gonna miss it. And these in particular are not fluffed out. We have a more like a cone, triangle cone shape. So those are gonna be great to kind of bury in a little bit into the arrangement where there's a spot that needs like a good, I don't know how to explain it. You know the feeling when you see it in the arrangement that you're like, okay, I need something that like really kind of sinks in there. That's the kind of flower that works really well for that. I might just give up with putting this on there. I'm gonna have to give up. Oh, that's looking lovely. All right, let's chat about my solution for keeping the crystal tower in place, but not permanently gluing it in place. Okay, so I'm a bad crafter, and I cannot tell you what this is technically called, but it's basically like a putty that you find in the floral department, and it's green. And it's like a putty. You get it nice and warmed up in your hands. It's nice and sticky, but it also can be removed. I did. Long term though, I haven't tested it, and I probably won't do a follow-up on this, but I would assume that after the end of the day, that's not long enough that it would permanently adhere to something. So, got a little bit of that on there. Put that in place. Push her down. Okay. There we go. It's working. It's working. Besides moss coming off, which I expected to happen here and there, I think we're good. Would you look at, oh my gosh. So cute. I wish I had a longer tower, but I couldn't get my hands on a longer one. If I had a longer one, I think it would make even a more dramatic. But my goodness. I'm loving it. What do you guys think? It's a fun color story to play around with too. Nice and moody for this fall. Oh, and it sits again. It's no longer top heavy. Yay! All right, let's do these. Let's do these? Let's do this. Let's do this. If you're loving this channel, can't get enough, want to know the next time we post a video, which is typically on Wednesdays, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to find out about the 150 style sola wood flowers along with craft supplies in Greenery. Go to ohyourlovely.com, but before you do, let me give you something. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off an order. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. We went back to we haven't done a bouquet in a while. So I hope you enjoyed it with a twist, of course, as we do. If you're loving the video or you want to give me a suggestion or what have you, share it, like and thumbs up it, leave a comment. All those things help the channel. Thank you so much for helping us grow this channel. There's over 20,000 of you guys now subscribed. We're getting real close to the 25,000 mark. It'd be nice to hit that before the end of the year. So, but if we don't, we don't. It's okay. I'll be fine. And if you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you subscribe so you're always updated whenever a new video goes up. Which again, I said, is typically on Wednesdays. All right, you guys, speaking of which, I'll see you next week for another tutorial. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, and you, my friends, are absolutely lovely. Bye, guys.